the beginning of the relationship between the indigenous people of the United States and people who came from other countries happened through this place in Plymouth, where apparently there was a rock. Plymouth Rock was actually a rock. And the people that came here on ships that landed first in Provincetown, actually, and then they were like, no, we're not staying here. And then they sailed up to Plymouth. The people who disembarked from those ships were on the run. You know, these were people who had been persecuted in the countries where they had come from. Most of it was religious, based on the religion they wanted to practice was not approved of. And their lives were made very difficult, and they were frightened, and they were being ostracized and punished. And, you know, in order for someone to decide to sail across the Atlantic Ocean to leave their home, it's got to be pretty serious. So a group of people made that decision, and that's who got out of ships in Plymouth, what's now Plymouth, on Plymouth Rock. And, you know, what the ancestors want me to know, what they want me to speak about, is the condition. They always want to talk about the nervous system. What kind of nervous system was operating inside of those people who came here? And they said it's fight or flight. The people who came here in those ships were upset. They were in crisis. They were in fight or flight. And because of that nervous system, that's our, you know, reptilian, most primitive nervous system, our ability when we're in that kind of state, our ability to, you know, to be visionary, to be creative, to see new things, our ability to relax, to let things flow, is not present, because we are fleeing, we're fighting, or we're freezing. That is what state we're in when we are in fight or flight. So when those people disembarked from those boats to get onto the shores of what would become the Americas, the United States of America, they were in fight or flight, and they saw through the chemistry of fight or flight another set of problems that had to be, you know, they left one area where they were feeling frightened, persecuted, and had to flee, and they brought that energy with them. And that is basically the energy that planted the seed of what we are now living in. We were the seeds of this community called the United States of America. The seeds were fight or flight. They were upset. And what the ancestors have been saying to me is that look at what's happened between Plymouth Rock, from the landing of those people at Plymouth Rock, and what is now occurring at Standing Rock. And they are interested in highlighting it because they're saying that this evolution that really must occur if human beings are to live on the planet, if we're going to survive on the planet, we have to make a shift. There has to be a change in the way we see, how we see the planet and how we see each other and how we see ourselves, who we know ourselves to be. They're saying that what happened between Plymouth Rock and Standing Rock is that we are beginning to understand that we have to change the way we see each other. At Standing Rock, just the name itself, it's standing. So it's not running around, it's standing. And what's occurring at Standing Rock is, for the first time since people landed at Plymouth Rock and encountered the Wampanoag tribes, all of the tribes that comprised the indigenous people of this land are coming together, not to fight, not to perpetrate or be victims of anything, but they are coming together to pray. They're coming together to acknowledge the stewardship that they feel, to acknowledge their relationship to the earth and to each other. And so the ancestors that we call the free people are asking that we look at this and understand that this is like a bellwether. What's happening at Standing Rock is a portal through which this evolutionary shift is being, it's like a illustration for us, for this evolutionary shift, that we are no longer going to survive if we keep running away and fighting. If we think that that is what we have to do, we've run out of space. We've, mechanized the fighting. We've got so many weapons now. We've weaponized it to the point that a big fight will end us all. And so they're basically saying that the energy and the nervous system that governed the genesis of the United States of America must shift. So if you're not in fight or flight, you're in restore and relax, or a relaxation response. And when we're in this nervous system, it's actually the parasympathetic nervous system of restore and relax. This is the nervous system that, yogis achieve so that through their practice of yoga, they can sit in deep meditation. This is the nervous system that enables us to be highly creative, that is associated with the flow. This is when Einstein said there's nothing greater than imagination. This is the nervous system that is the seat of this highest form of thought. And what's happening through the illustration of Standing Rock is we're being invited to try it for ourselves, to begin, with the Trump administration coming in. Lots of people are getting on buses to protest, and lots of people are feeling like they want to demonstrate their opposition to the ideas that Mr. Trump represents. And it's a critical moment for us as a nation community, because we're being invited to step into our individual responsibility for this thing called the United States of America. And protesting against something or someone, while it might feel satisfying for a moment or two, in the long run, what's most needed is for us to have a vision of what we want, not a protest against what we don't want, which is the Plymouth Rock energy. I don't want that, so I'm going to cross an ocean and go find a new place and by being in reactivity, I recreate the same energy that I ran away from. And that's what they're trying to point out. If we're in fight or flight, we're not capable of doing anything other than to react. And so at this moment, with all of us feeling like we need to do something, whatever it is, it's really important to know that the opening, the new way, the healing that we are all coming together to have can be found through relaxation, through breath, through getting a little still, just to think about Standing Rock. So that's what they want to know. That's like the current events. When they want to talk about current events, those are the current events. And when we observe and celebrate President Trump's inauguration, if we can truly celebrate that we are all equally responsible for our country, that being a citizen is an enormous honor and it's a gift, and we can do anything we want to do, especially if we are not in fight or flight and if we are free to be creative. So that is what I wanted to share this week from the Free People.